Hi, this is Kevin Maloney from the Maloney Method. Good to see you. We're taking the scene outside today. We're in San Mateo in a little hideaway park. We're going to have two things we're going to talk about today. Number one, the biggest weapon for metabolic kick. It's called muscle confusion. Then we're going to start our why series, and we're going to start with my daughter, Megan. Find out her why, how she's trained over 20 years consistently. Okay, muscle confusion is as the word sounds, okay? And what you have to do is you have to make sure you don't have a plan, okay? That is the key here. You don't have a plan. You don't go into your workout with a plan on this. The reason for that muscle confusion is a huge metabolic kick, is the way nature does things, okay? When we have certain habits that we do every day, leaving the house, check this door, check the electrical, boom. You got 8 or 10 things. We're just talking about a package of maps that run our day. There's little maps that form. Now, the first time you did all those connections, okay, let's take a bundle of 10 little moves that you make. You burn this many calories, okay? The second time you did that, and the third time, you probably burn the same amount of calories. But then what happens is nature, okay, which tries to get the most out of every calorie because it's all about survival. Nature makes sure that it becomes extremely efficient at those 10 little habits you do so that you burn fewer calories. Same thing with muscle building. You do the same thing all the time, same exercises, boom, boom, boom. Even if you're working extremely hard, you burn the same amount of calories. And over time, you will burn less calories. Muscle confusion is to walk into a gym. The only thing you have to know at that point is your first exercise. How you're going to get the ball rolling, the first exercise. So you walk in, okay, you have your first exercise, okay, and then at that point, you decide your second exercise. There's no preparation. So you may go from bent over rows, boom, boom, put the weight down, and instead of doing more back, all of a sudden, you pick up the weight and you're doing presses. A system that you've never done before. That's the key. No rhyme, no rhythm. Muscle confusion totally kicks the metabolic system so you burn and burn and burn. Okay, second part of our show that we're starting today, two things new. We started outside, and we're going to start our why series. Why people who have been training a long time, how they keep doing it, and why they do it. So at this point, I'll bring on my daughter, Megan
check
Maloney.
Something on the audio. Okay, looks good.
Hi, Meg.
Hi.
Okay, when did you start training? She's giggling. She says, you should know, right?
I think I was about, 17? 17 years old?
Yeah, around that.
17, 18.
Yes.
I didn't really do any physical activity, but I had a lot of anxiety, and I think I initially wanted to lose a little bit of weight, but I was only doing it through dieting, which you can only do that for so long.
Well, let me ask you a question, because I've seen many trainers over the years, right? I never expected to be talking to you 20 years later, over 20 years later, and you having stuck with it and gone into different types of things. Why did you stay? What was it that grabbed you and held you, particularly in the beginning, when you weren't in real good shape?
I think that one thing that has nothing to do with the physical outcome of exercise is how it kind of takes you to a different place every day. like you feel like you've rejuvenated yourself somehow. So you wake up in the morning, you kind of feel sluggish, and then you feel like bored of the way you feel, basically. And so you go and you run or you do something which takes you to a totally different place. And then afterwards you feel different because of what you did. And it's just like a nice transition. So you have a transition without taking drugs or alcohol or something like that. Like it makes you feel different on a daily basis. I don't know, I'm trying to find the right words. You know
well,
what I'm
let me
saying?
ask you a question.
I became addicted to that feeling where you feel like you're going somewhere else mentally and physically, and then you come back to reality after you recover from your workout, and it just makes the rest of your day feel easier. And it's just a nice change of pace of your normal state.
Okay. Now, as time rolls on, as a young lady, you had plenty of time because I brought you up, so I know different schedules. But as you gotten older, got into business, basically own and run 2 businesses, have 2 children, how do you fit exercise in?
I make it a priority. I don't really even ask myself if I'm going to exercise, it's when. And usually I do it first thing in the morning before I do anything else. That's just what works for me. I know that doesn't work for everybody, but if I need to, I'll wake up earlier. If for some reason I sleep late, I'll fit it in between, taking care of my kids I'll do a quick 20-minute sprint almost on the treadmill when my son is having breakfast. I will fit it in somehow, just enough to get that feeling that I crave to,
Okay.
I will make time for it.
Okay, so that comes under the heading of kind of scheduling. How about instinctive training? Do you do any instinctive training where you're having a day with the children, all these things are happening? Do you go and do some exercise, an unprepared workout, just to get you through emotionally?
I do that. I've done that before.
So it's a weapon.
It is a weapon. If I feel like I have too much built up emotion, if I feel like I just have too much anxiety or stress, if I just go for a run or a bike ride or something where I can just let it out, I feel completely different afterwards. And
Okay.
it helps take the edge off.
All right, let's take completely different. Okay. Let's say you have a problem with me, your dad, okay, that I pissed you off for some reason.
By the way, I don't think you're in the frame.
Okay.
I know we have to be kind of close, but
Okay.
I think I'm probably in the frame.
Okay, well, my voice is the more important. Hi. Let's say I pissed you off for something for some reason. Then you go and hit the bike. What is the different perspective on the same information, the thing that pissed you off after a 20-minute Megan Mania bike ride?
Yeah, if I will, it's not that I won't still be pissed off at whatever it was but I won't give it the same energy. Or I'll just say, oh, well,
You're more philosophical
I'm more of
about
a
it.
live and let live type person.
After the workout.
After the workout. Before the workout, it's like I want them to agree with me. I want them to see my side. I can't relax until they see my side because I'm the one that's correct, that's right about the situation. And then after, it's not that I've changed my opinion about the situation, but it's like, well, it's not, nobody's going to die. If he feels this way, if he feels like he's right, whatever the situation may be, and I feel like I'm right, most likely, even if people say just to appease the other person, oh, you're right, they probably still feel like they're right in the end. So sometimes you just have to, like they say, agree to disagree, live and let live, and be okay with it. And I feel like after a workout, after I've let out my physical aggression, I'm able to have that perspective.
It's almost like someone comes in and gives you a tranquilizer shot.
Kind of.
Okay, so let me ask you on this category. Because we know women with weight how does it affect what you can eat and how much you can eat, and what is the effect of the types of food that you eat on your workout?
Yeah. So, I mean, I can't, because I'm a woman, I do have a history of, having maybe people might call a bad relationship with food or food anxiety, because I think a lot of women who have dieted before, they have had that type of experience where they look at food as good or bad. But I do feel like when I do overeat or eat too much carbs or too much sugar, I feel like I not to say to use exercise as like a way to purge, because I've heard of that like theory before, but it is true that when you do overeat on something like that, you can have a more power if you just say, hey, now I've given myself a lot of energy to have a really good workout. You will have a really good workout and say, hey, I'm glad that I had, those 3 donuts or whatever it is, because you don't think you probably wouldn't have been able to run that 10 miles or whatever that you really also enjoyed. So it's a win-win situation. I do think people do take that to an extreme sometimes, like the binge the eating and then the over exercise. So if you could just keep that in check, but knowing that, hey, I am capable of going out and doing a run or a bike ride or something and using the energy that I have and in my muscle stores or whatever, that's kind of a peace of mind for somebody. If somebody's not in shape, even if they do have a binge or something, they have nowhere to take it. They're not in good enough shape to take it anywhere, so they just kind of have to sit with it.
So you kind of, because you're in shape, you can kind of have what you would call a bad eating day and leave it on the street somewhere, because you have the energy. Now, as far as your life, can you ever imagine this not being part of your life?
No.
Getting up and moving, so it's totally entrenched.
No, I mean, even the whole time I was pregnant with both of my kids, probably, I think maybe I took 2 or 3 days off after having, I mean, that's just me. I'm not saying that that's what people should do, but just it's such a part of my daily, how I feel, and now it's become a normal part of my, what are you laughing at?
No, I'm smiling at you.
No, it's like getting up and having my coffee. It's like the same exact, it's like just as normal as that. I feel like I have to get my workout in, otherwise I don't feel complete.
Well,
I know resting is good, but I guess I really never rest, because it's just I don't do the same workout every day, so I rest certain parts of my body, but I don't really see the point unless I might take it a little easy one day if I had like a really hard workout the day before. But I could easily, monitor my food and work out less and do it that way, but I truly enjoy the feeling of working out, so I'd rather work out and eat more and, use my body more.
I can say, because I've seen, and this series we're going to have all different types of trainers, okay? But the proof is in the pudding. You're going to be 41, okay? That's harder for me to believe than the fact that I'm going to be 73. My youngest daughter's going to be 41. Now, runs 2 businesses, 2 children. Honestly, take a decade off that. That's what you look like. And I'm not bragging, but I'm bragging. This is a powerful drug, and we're going to go into stories each week on people like Megan for their whys. So what I'll do is I'll wrap it up now. I'll do a review, Meg, and you can go over there and do some more exercise.
No, I'm done.
So today what we did, muscle confusion. Muscle confusion is you don't know what you do after the first exercise. All you need to know is the first exercise, and then you improvise. Totally different than your normal body parts and your normal stuff, because it is a huge metabolic kick. The metabolism slows down when you do the same thing time after time. Second, on today's show, we talked to Megan, my youngest daughter, who's been training over 20 years, and her why. Because without a strong why, you don't last in the training game. So you got to determine if your why is that important. And we'll see you Monday for another show. And thank you for joining us.